These aren't cars. They're spaceships on wheels. From the wedge-shaped Ferrari Modelo to jet-powered monsters like the GM Firebird II, these machines weren't built for roads. They were built for the future. Titanium bodies, glass domes, jet engines, and no doors. This is what happens when designers stop thinking about traffic and start dreaming about other planets. Buckle in. You're about to discover the wildest space cars ever imagined. Watch till the end. The last one will blow your mind.
Number 5. The Lancia Stratos Zero was created by Marcello Gandini at the legendary Italian design house Bertone. This was the same man who designed the Lamborghini Miura and Countach, both icons of automotive sculpture. But the Stratos Zero, it went way further. The car is just 33 inches tall, 84 centimeters, barely above knee level. Imagine a doorstop or a piece of shrapnel from a sci-fi movie. That's what it looks like. No doors. You enter by lifting the windshield upward like a canopy. No rear visibility. Rear window? Side mirrors? Who needs them? Headlights. Hidden in the body, they shoot out like lasers from slits. Body made of sharply angled steel panels, painted in shimmering bronze wheels. Almost fully covered to preserve the wedge look. Dashboard, pure space shuttle vibes. Angled, wild-looking dials and switches. Steering wheel, more aircraft yoke than car wheel. From the outside, it looks like it's moving even when standing still. A perfect example of motion in design. Beneath the insane body, the Stratos Zero used parts from a Lancia Fulvia HF, 1.6-liter V4 engine, around 115 horsepower mid-mounted, behind the driver, rear-wheel drive, 5-speed manual transmission. For a car weighing only about 1,800 pounds, 800 kilograms, that was plenty quick. But let's be honest, the engine wasn't the point. Stratos Zero wasn't made to be fast. It was made to blow minds. You may wonder, why would anyone build this? Bertone wanted to get Lancia's attention for future projects, prove it could out-crazy Pininfarina, their main rival, redefine what a car could look like. They literally built the body first, then figured out how to make it drive. It was so low, Bertone's founder drove it under a barrier arm at the Turin Motor Show entrance, like it was a loaf of bread on wheels. The stunt worked. Lancia was so impressed they gave Bertone the green light to develop what became the Lancia Stratos HF, a real rally car that dominated the WRC. Let's not sugarcoat it. As a car, the Stratos Zero is wildly impractical. You can't see out the back or the sides. Mirrors? Nope. Rear window? There's a grille with slats and nothing more. You lie down more than sit. The cockpit is cramped, hot, and loud. There's no storage, no AC, no comforts at all. The pedals are offset and the steering is weirdly heavy. Good luck getting in or out in a parking lot. Ground clearance, measured in molecules. Try driving it over a speed bump or a pebble. But that's the point. It wasn't built for people. It was built to blow their minds. Despite being a concept car, the Stratos Zero is a running, drivable vehicle. It's been fully restored by specialists. It can technically drive on public roads. Jay Leno famously drove it around a parking lot and called it absolutely ridiculous and absolutely magnificent. Featured in the Michael Jackson movie Moonwalker, displayed at countless car museums and design exhibitions, appears in racing games like Gran Turismo and Forza Horizon, owned by film director Kenneth Branagh. For a time, there's only one in the world. It's priceless. In 2011, it was sold at auction for over 761,600 euros, about $1 million US. For collectors, it's the holy grail of wedge-era design. Feature Stratos Zero, normal car height 33 inches, 84 centimeters, Nanodemars 55 inches, 1.4 meters, doors none, windshield canopy, hinge side doors, visibility, none windshield plug mirrors, engine 1.6-liter, Lancia Vive 4, varies practicality, 0 out of 10, 7 to 10 out of 10. Coolness factor, 11 out of 10. Not this. The 1970 Lancia Stratos Zero is a piece of art that moves. It was never meant to be practical, comfortable, or even realistic. But it redefined what automotive design could be. And in doing so, it paved the way for the actual Lancia Stratos HF, one of the greatest rally cars ever. It is stupid, and that's what makes it brilliant. Number 4, 1955 Lincoln Futura. The jet-age dream that became the Batmobile origins, Ford's space-age flex. In the early 1950s, automakers were obsessed with the jet age. Airplanes, rockets, chrome, fins, and bubbles. Ford wanted to show the world what the future could look like, and Lincoln, its luxury division, was chosen to build something wild, the Futura. Designed by Bill Schmidt and John Najjar, hand-built by Ghia in Italy, yes, the famous coach builder, cost Ford $250,000 to build. An astronomical sum in 1955, debuted at the 1955 Chicago Auto Show. This thing was a rolling hallucination. It looked like a flying saucer mated with a shark fin and got dipped in chrome. Double canopy bubble roof, clear plastic domes over the passengers, enormous rear tail fins, more exaggerated than even Cadillacs, bright pearlescent white paint made with real groundfish scales, centrally split grille, and deeply inset headlights, side exhaust-like trim, and massive overhangs. It was long, low, loud, and absolutely impossible to mass-produce. Width, 80 inches. Height, 52 inches. Weight, approximately 4,000 plus pounds. This thing was longer than a modern Ford F-150. Why it was stupid, but also amazing. Let's be honest. As a car, the Futura was completely bonkers. Bubble canopy equals oven, no air conditioning. 2 giant plastic domes. In the sun. You could cook eggs on the seats. 0 visibility. The high rear fins and domes made blind spots into black holes. Backing up? Forget it. Way too big. It was wider than most roads in Europe. Try parking this thing at the grocery store. No practicality. It was built for show, not go. Giant fins and chrome meant it would have been a nightmare to produce or maintain. But despite the impracticality, the Futura did exactly what it was supposed to do. Turn heads, spark imaginations, get people talking. Here's where the story gets legendary. After its show career, the Futura was never sold to the public. It briefly appeared in the 1959 Debbie Reynolds movie, It Started with a Kiss, painted red. Then it disappeared into storage. Custom car legend George Barris, already famous in LA for his wild hot rods, bought the Lincoln Futura from Ford for $1. Why so cheap? Ford didn't want to pay to ship it back to Detroit. It was technically a scrapped prototype. In 1966, producers of the Batman TV series were scrambling to build a Batmobile in just 3 weeks. They called Barris. He said, "I have just the thing." Barris and his team modified the Futura, painted it black with red trim, added bat-themed fins, a front bat nose, and gadgets galore, installed goofy controls, a bubble flasher, and labeled everything kept the iconic double bubble canopy. And boom, the most famous car in comic book history was born. Atomic turbine engine, really a V8, bat ray, bat phone, bat computer, all labeled in goofy 60s font jet style afterburner, in the back grappling hook, and bat parachute gimmicks based on a car that never went into production. It stole every scene it was in. The original Batmobile, yes, the modified Lincoln Futura, was sold at auction in 2013 for $4.6 million. Meanwhile, the 1955 Lincoln Futura was never recreated by Ford. It's truly a one-of-a-kind car. Recreations and replicas of the Futura or Batmobile have been made, but the original is now a national treasure of nerdom. Feature Lincoln Futura, 1955, Batmobile, 1966 TV, length 227 inches, 225 inches. Engine Lincoln 368, V8 Ford, 390 by 8, modded, horsepower approximately 300 HP, approximately 330 HP, estimated, weight approximately 4,000 pounds, approximately 4,500 pounds. Top speed movie magic, Mach 1 smile, units built 1 original, Many replicas, iconic TV symbol of the 1960s Batman-inspired multiple generations of Batmobiles sparked interest in futuristic design and automotive showmanship. Still appears at car shows and museums globally. Today, people don't even remember the Futura name. They just call it the Batmobile. But car nerds know, without the 1955 Lincoln Futura, there would be no Batmobile. The 1955 Lincoln Futura is the ultimate jet-age concept car. Too weird to build, too wild to drive, too cool to forget. Its design was silly, impractical, and over the top. But that's what made it unforgettable. And thanks to George Barris, it found new life as the most famous superhero car of all time. Number 3, the Uff Electric was designed and built by Paul Arzens, a French industrial designer, painter, and sculptor, known more for his futuristic locomotives and artistic flair than for cars. He was obsessed with mobility, minimalism, and the future. And this egg-shaped car was the ultimate personal rebellion against war and fossil fuels. He built it in 1942 in Paris, while the city was under German occupation. Fuel was strictly rationed, especially for civilians. Private car ownership was heavily restricted. Materials like steel were reserved for military use. Yet Arzens, resourceful and stubborn, wanted to keep moving. So what did he do? He designed and built his own personal electric car using aluminum, bicycle wheels, and plexiglass. This wasn't a car, it was a statement. Feature Uff Electric year, built 1942, powertrain 48-volt electric motor, top speed approximately 70 kilometers per hour, approximately 43 miles per hour. Range approximately 100 kilometers, 62 miles. Batteries 5 12-volt lead-acid batteries. Body material aluminum and plexiglass. Weight 350 kilograms, 770 pounds. Seating for 1 adult plus 1 child, or 2 small adults. Doors rear access hatch, or none at all, because it literally looks like a giant egg on bicycle wheels. Teardrop egg shape for minimal air resistance. Plexiglass bubble canopy, clear on all sides. 3 wheels, 2 front, 1 rear. No traditional bumpers, mirrors, or fenders. Bare aluminum frame visible inside, weight-saving holes drilled in everything, even the steering wheel. This wasn't just a quirky look. The aerodynamic shape was years ahead of its time. Today, we celebrate electric cars as cutting edge. But the Uff Electric was doing it 8 decades ago, during a global war. It used lead-acid batteries similar to what powered radios and trains. Charging was likely done with household power. Remember, no gas stations for EVs back then. And despite its tiny motor, it had enough range to go grocery shopping, commute across town, or simply exist as a rebellion against war and scarcity. Fully electric, zero gas, zero emissions in 1942. Lightweight, made from aluminum and plastic, efficient, 62-mile range in a 770-pound car. Aerodynamic, the egg shape wasn't just cute, it worked DIY ingenuity, built in a basement workshop, not a factory. Ahead of its time, predated modern EV thinking by decades. 3 wheels, unstable at speed, bubble canopy, friction oven in the sun. No crash protection whatsoever. No safety features at all. Looked like a cartoon character in traffic, if there was any traffic. But here's the key. It wasn't made to be practical. It was personal mobility built from scraps, during a time when cars had basically vanished from daily life. The Uff Electric wasn't just a vehicle. It was a political and artistic act. In a time of blackouts, curfews, and surveillance, Arzens built freedom. It represented independence from fuel, war, and conformity. It allowed him to move, shop, visit friends, all without needing a drop of gasoline. It was quiet, clean, and uncategorizable. The Nazis might have had tanks, but Arzens had an egg. The original Uff Electric still exists. It's preserved in the Musée des Arts et Métiers in Paris, a museum dedicated to invention and design. It's displayed alongside Arzens' other vehicle, the La Baleine, a giant luxury coupe he also designed. Though it didn't inspire mass production, the Uff Electric predicted urban microcars like the smart Fort Woo EV trends of lightweight minimalism, sustainable mobility in dense cities. It also inspired concept designers and artists in how form and function can merge. And of course, it out-weirded almost every other car of the 1940s. The 1942 Uff Electric is what happens when a war, a fuel crisis, and an artist collide. It's not a car, it's a bubble of defiance. We can laugh at its shape, its size, and its impracticality. But in many ways, this tiny three-wheeled electric egg beat Tesla, Nissan Leaf, and BMW i3 by about 70 years. It wasn't just ahead of its time, it was from another timeline entirely. Number 2, Project Origins, GM's space-age obsession. By the mid-1950s, General Motors wasn't just the biggest car company in the world. It was the cultural engine of American optimism. Post-war America was obsessed with jet engines, nuclear power, futuristic automation highways, and computers. So in 1953, GM created the Firebird concept series, a line of experimental cars inspired by jet fighters. The goal? Not to produce them, but to show off what the future of cars could look like. Firebird II was the second in the series, the most ambitious and arguably the weirdest. A 4-seat, gas turbine-powered, drive-by-wire, titanium-bodied concept car with a guidance system designed to interface with smart highways. It was a military-grade spaceship pretending to be a family car. Spec Firebird this year 1956, engine gas turbine, Whirlfire GT 304, horsepower approximately 200 HP, top speed estimated 100 to 150 miles per hour, weight approximately 5,000 pounds, body material titanium plus fiberglass, drive system drive-by-wire, no direct link, guidance system electronic sensors in highways, seating 4 passengers, style jet fighter on wheels, double bubble canopy roof, 1 bubble for driver, 1 for passengers, massive rear tail fins, like aircraft stabilizers, jet-style nose cone, centerline exhaust outlet in the rear side air, intakes like jet turbine housings, titanium body panels, expensive, futuristic, and lightweight for the era. It screamed speed and technology, but was ultimately undrivable on actual roads. Firebird II ran on a Whirlfire GT 304 gas turbine engine, the same kind of power source you'd find in a helicopter or fighter jet. High power-to-weight ratio, fewer moving parts than piston engines, potential to run on multiple fuels, kerosene, jet fuel, etc. Terrible fuel economy, single-digit MPG if you're lucky, loud enough to melt eardrums, delayed throttle response. Ran so hot, you could cook dinner on the rear deck. In short, great for aircraft, terrible for stop-and-go traffic. Firebird II was designed to operate on future automated highways. Yes, self-driving cars in 1956. The car had an electronic guidance system that would interact with metal sensors embedded in the road. The idea was, enter the highway, let the car take over, relax, read a magazine, sip coffee. GM predicted this would happen within 10 years. It didn't, but the vision wasn't completely wrong. It's just that we had to wait 70 more years for Tesla, LiDAR, and AI aircraft-style yoke instead of a steering wheel, drive-by-wire controls, no mechanical linkage to the wheels. Fully enclosed, climate-controlled, cabin TV-style screen in the dashboard. Yeah, in 1956. Lots of chrome, blinking lights, and dramatic switches. It was less like a car and more like the cockpit of a B-52 bomber. Introduced concepts decades ahead of their time. Self-driving highways, alternative propulsion, gas turbines, advanced materials like titanium, drive-by-wire tech designed as a family car, not just a one-seater toy, functioned as a rolling technology demo, pushing engineers beyond conventional thinking. Gas turbines were completely impractical for real roads. Heat and noise were comically unbearable. Guidance system required tearing up every road in America. Cost of materials, like titanium, was astronomical. The double bubble canopy had zero crash safety, would have melted your garage if you parked it. But again, it was never meant for production. It was an engineering dream, meant to shock, awe, and inspire. While GM never put the Firebird II into production, its influence was massive. Inspired generations of concept cars and science fiction, introduced ideas like autonomous driving 50 years before Google became a centerpiece at GM's Motorama. Shows helped define the jet age aesthetic in American design. It lives on today in museums like the GM Heritage Center and auto history exhibitions as a symbol of pure futurist optimism. Model year engine, type purpose Firebird the 1953, single-seat gas turbine, like a missile on wheels. Firebird II, 1956, four-seat gas turbine plus automation, futuristic family car. Firebird III, 1958, dual control systems plus radar experimental driverless car. The 1956 GM Firebird II is one of the most outrageous concept cars ever built. It was loud, expensive, dangerous, completely impractical, but also stunning visionary. Technically fascinating and way ahead of its time, it represents a moment when automakers thought anything was possible and weren't afraid to strap jet engines to family sim. Number 1, the basics feature detail. Year 1970, designer Paolo Martin for Pininfarina, chassis Ferrari, 512, S number 27, engine 5.0, LV12 Ferrari, Tipo 2, 61, horsepower 550 HP, top speed 220 miles per hour, theoretical 0 to 60 miles per hour, 3.1 seconds, estimated, body material lightweight fiberglass, plus aluminum height 935 millimeters, 36.8 inches. Insanely low. Doors sliding canopy instead of traditional doors. Status one-off concept. The Ferrari 512 S Modelo was a concept car based on a real Ferrari 512 S-Race chassis, transformed by Pininfarina into a radical design study to showcase what the future of motoring could look like. But let's be clear, it was barely a car in the traditional sense. It was a mobile sculpture. The 512S Modelo is often called one of the most extreme examples of wedge design, a popular design trend in the 1970s. Think Lancia Stratos Zero, Lotus Esprit, or Lamborghini Countach. But the Modelo took it to the edge of the galaxy. Jet black glass canopy that slides forward to allow entry, fully covered wheels, giving it a hover car appearance. No traditional doors. You enter by sliding the canopy like a fighter. Jet louvered engine cover with 24 circular holes revealing the V12 beneath, symmetrical, spaceship-like proportions. Only 36.8 inches tall, shorter than most children, it looked alien, even at a time when wedge cars were everywhere. People weren't sure if it was real or propaganda from Mars. Unlike most concept cars, the Modelo wasn't just for show. It was built on chassis number 27 of the Ferrari 512S, a legit Le Mans endurance racer. A 5.0-liter V12 engine producing 550 horsepower, a top speed over 220 miles per hour on paper, a lightweight body, mid-engine layout with rear-wheel drive. Technically, it could drive, though in reality, it rarely did. You sit very low, almost flat on your back. The controls are built into the center console, including rocker switches. The dashboard wraps around like a cockpit. Visibility is poor, comfort is minimal, and there's zero luggage space. The whole cabin is under glass. Greenhouse effect? Yes. Privacy? Number. It was less daily driver and more moon mission capsule. Design innovation. It pushed the boundaries of automotive design like nothing else. The Modelo wasn't just ahead of its time, it was outside of time. Function meets form. Unlike many show cars, it had a real V12 Ferrari engine and racing pedigree underneath. This wasn't just vaporware, statement piece. It marked the peak of the wedge era and cemented Pininfarina as the kings of futuristic form. Think of it as the Sistine Chapel of concept cars. Technically functional, sort of, it ran. Eventually, Although the cockpit was about as accessible as a submarine hatch, it could move under its own power. Let's be honest. The Modelo was completely impractical as a road car. Getting in and out required sliding the canopy, meaning parking next to a wall was a nightmare. Visibility was terrible. Heat buildup under the canopy? Horrible. You sat so low, you might as well have been dragging your chin on the pavement. The wheel wells were covered, so turning radius was laughable. Repairing anything? Good luck accessing it without a full teardown. And yet, none of that mattered. The Modelo wasn't built for people. It was built for the future. When it debuted at the 1970 Geneva Motor Show, the Modelo stole the show. Crowds gathered around the mysterious wedge. Nobody could believe it was from Ferrari. It had no prancing horse badges, no grille, no doors, no real precedent. It was art pretending to be engineering. It was science fiction turned real. For decades, the Modelo sat unmoving in Pininfarina's collection, admired but inert. Then in the 2010s, James Glickenhaus, a private collector and filmmaker, bought the Modelo and had it fully restored to running condition. Engine, drivetrain, brakes, everything. He drives it now, occasionally taking it to car shows and shocking people with the fact that it's not a movie prop. It's a functioning Ferrari. The Modelo influenced concept design for years, film, fashion, and architecture. The wedge aesthetic in automotive history. Every designer who ever asked, what if we just removed the doors? It is routinely listed among the most iconic and bizarre concept cars ever built. The 1970 Ferrari 512 S Modelo isn't a car in the usual sense. It's a spaceship with a license plate. Visionary, almost undrivable, bizarre, gorgeous, and deeply Ferrari in the sense that it defies compromise. You don't own a Modelo. You curate it. You worship it. You protect it from bugs in reality. It was an Estoin.